Today, I will be discussing and analyzing one of Ben Jonson's many poems. This popular poem, which is often confused with another one of his more well-known poems, On My First Son, conveys both themes of acceptance and inevitable death, and relates to the reader in both joyful and mournful ways. This is On My First Daughter. Here lies to each her parents' ruth, Mary, the daughter of their youth. Yet all heaven's gifts being heaven's due, it makes the father less to rue. At 6 months' end, she parted hence, with safety of her innocence, whose soul heaven's queen, whose name she bears, in comfort of her mother's tears, hath placed amongst her virgin train, where while that severed doth remain, this grave partakes the fleshly birth, which cover lightly gentle earth. On My First Daughter is an epitaph, or funerary speech or inscription honoring the deceased about the loss of Jonson's baby daughter Mary, who at the time was just 6 months old. This poem has an AABB rhyme scheme, which is also known as a couplet rhyme scheme, and consists of 12 lines, 6 rhyming couplets. Jonson intentionally had 6 couplets to represent the age of the daughter when she died, since she was 6 months old. Aside from the themes of acceptance and inevitable death, this poem brings about a theme of parental love and how much Jonson will miss his daughter. And even though the poem is centered around his daughter, it tells us more about Jonson and how much he suffered with this loss than it does the daughter and what she was like. At the beginning of the poem, Jonson tries to explain to the audience that Mary was a gift from heaven, and he places the audience in the setting of her grave. This is shown in the first 2 lines. Here lies to each her parents' ruth, Mary, the daughter of their youth. Jonson, throughout the poem, compares his daughter to the actual Virgin Mary, which proves he thinks greatly of her. In line 7, Jonson relates his daughter to Jesus' mother by saying, whose soul heaven's queen, which makes his daughter Mary seem virginal and like royalty. Near the end of the poem, Jonson quietly pleads with the earth to be gentle and look after her. Throughout this poem, Jonson uses many poetic devices, the first one being a metaphor. As talked about before, in Jonson's 7th line, whose soul heaven's queen, whose name she bears, he compares Mary, his daughter, to Mary, the mother of Jesus. Another device used is imagery. In line 1, Jonson uses the words, here lies. This line is often shown on a tombstone and forces the audience to immediately think of death. A third device used in this poem is personification. In the last line, earth is personified as being gentle and convinces the audience that Mary will have another happy home to live in.